Hello and welcome to Creativity TV. On today's show we are joined by the lovely Jo Austin again, who is going to show us a brilliant paper weaving technique.
It's just basically cutting strips of paper and just interlocking them into a design. And what we've got here is a fantastic card from Becky Vickers and also one that I've got here. And you can see on these two cards, they're two distinct different styles. So this one that Becky Vickers has actually sent in has got a closed weave on here, which means you can't see any of the background paper underneath.
Right, okay.
And mine's actually more of an open weave, which is where you space your weave sections out a little bit more and you can actually see the card underneath. So this could, I've just done it onto white card, but this could be the green or the pink or the purple or whatever you actually see in between. So what I'm actually using for the card that I've done today, these shabby florals that I've actually downloaded from the Creativity Club, and I love the fact that you've got all these fantastic papers that you're free to download and you can work with.
They're beautiful. Don't forget that in Creativity Club, when we put the downloads on there, we don't take them off, so you could access all of them. You can go back pages and pages and pages and make the most out of all the old ones. Recreate, you know, different Christmas cards or. There's so many in there, but these are beautiful, these ones.
And they work with the digital designer as well. So you can actually import them into your digital designer if that's what you wanted to do, which was what I tend to do. And then I can rescale them and make duo papers and things like that. So I can print out two different papers on one sheet.
Yeah.
But what I'm actually going to just chop up at the moment, I've just started doing this one. But this is one of the stripes from that Shabby Florals. And this is great for your paper weaving. So anything with a stripe on.
Oh, brilliant.
Just because it gives you an edge. So all I'm going to do is pop it into my guillotine.
I'm glad you're using this one because all the projects I do are very shabby chic as well. I think
I
that's
just
my
love
kind
that
of style.
look. Yeah, I'm saying it's one thing that I always tend to do a little bit of research on when I'm on the internet. My husband will say to me at night, "What are you doing?" And I'll say, "I'm just researching."
Yeah.
And it is the shabby chic. It always catches your eye. Yeah. So these are great because they've got that distressing on there already, so I don't need to do anything else with that. Okay, so we've got lots of little strips there, and obviously put them with the strips that I've already got. So what I've got there is a little bit of card that I've just cut into a square shape. Obviously I'm going to create a square one, but it's slightly smaller than the card itself. Right. And what I'm actually going to do is just take a little bit of adhesive, just right on the very end of these little sections here, and on the back of this one, just so it stays nice and flat on my table, so it's not going to move as I'm starting to pop these on. So all I'm going to do is just basically create a little grid pattern on there. Okay, so we just need that little tiny bit of adhesive, and what I'm doing is I'm just basically putting it across my card but leave a gap inside. Now that gap can be as wide or as narrow as what you want. It depends how much of the card underneath you actually want to see.
Right, okay.
There we go. So what I'm going to do is just pop that one on there, and then obviously we can just basically create our little weave. So this is obviously how we're doing. We've got a first one underneath, over, under, over, under. Right. And the next one's going to go the opposite way. So what you've actually got over the top, this time we're going to go underneath. You can see that it's really easy to start building up that look of that weave. Yeah. So now we've got all our paper weave in place. It's just roughly placed onto the paper there. What we can do then is just take our wet glue and just stick them a little bit more permanently. So it's just a case of having a little bit of glue on there and just bob it down underneath your paper strip. So again, all we're doing is just gluing at one end.
It's really handy to not stick anything down straight away, isn't it?
That's it. And so you need
line everything up.
Yeah, and so you need to be able to line it up really. Okay, so now we've got everything in place. Everything's stuck firmly around the edges. And again, if you see any loose bits, all we need to do is just basically pop a little bit of glue underneath it. Okay, so because there are that many strips of paper on here, you might actually miss that odd one or two. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just basically prise that off my table. We can then turn that over. You can see the edges of your card. All we need to do then is just snip them off so they're nice and level. Okay, so you've got that beautiful grid technique there as well. Yeah. So all I'm going to do now is just finish popping the card together. And for this I've just taken some complimentary lilac card. Just going to put a little bit of adhesive just on the back of this. And this is why really you need to actually cut it to size before you start putting the layers on, so you know exactly how big and how small it needs to be. Yeah. So just going to pop that on there. So I've got a little layer of lilac. Okay, this is then going to sit straight onto the top of our card. And then just to embellish it and finish it off, I've just taken some of the lilac card that we've got from underneath as well. All I'm going to do is pop that on.
So whilst you're putting on the finishing touches to your card,
Okay.
I'll just explain that to get the step-by-steps, you can add for Joe's card today for the paper weaving. They're all under the project section in the Creativity Club. And don't forget, if you have a go at doing the paper weaving technique yourself, either the one that Becky Vickers has done or Joe Austin has done, then drop me an email at tv@docrafts.com and we may be able to get your card on a future episode of Creativity TV.
So I'm just going to pop this little panel on here as well. And again, what I'm going to do is just basically trim that down. Now what I've actually used to create this little border here are the Just to Say stamps that have just come out. They're great little images, and again you've got this beautiful
so elegant,
boarding.
aren't they, these
They
stamps?
are. Okay, so this one here, I've just got the With Deepest Sympathy, so obviously with the lilacs on there as well, you've got different phrases.
And have you used a punch for that? Or
I've used a punch, yeah. I've used a 1.5 inch circle to obviously punch the sentiment out.
Yeah.
And then I've used a 2-inch one, obviously for the greeting there. I've also taken some adhesive gems. So these are the little pearls that you get in the new pearl wheels that we've
beautiful,
got.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It makes a change. If you don't want to gem, you want something a little bit more subdued.
Yeah.
The pearls are absolutely perfect for that. And this is just going to go on centrally onto the middle of our card, and that just ties that little messy area where obviously the border crosses over in the centre. And then what I've done is I've taken 2 of the lily stamps. That's out of the Just to Say stamps again, and I've stamped it twice so I can create more of a decoupage image. I've coloured it in with the Artiste pens and just done a little watercolour effect on there. And then these are just going to sit side by side, just along
so like
just to add a little bit of dimension onto the bottom of your card. The other thing that I've done there as well is just to create a little bow. So this is just made simply by just taking a couple of different pieces of ribbon, slightly different lengths, and then just stick them together on top of each other and then wind one around the top.
Oh, I've always wondered
and that
how
just
you
creates
make
just that little fancy bow there. And that's just going to go just up there at the top of our card.
Beautiful. Isn't that
There you go.
gorgeous? Thank you so much for joining us today, Jo. I'm
welcome.
certainly going to be having a go at paper weaving.
It's a great idea to try.
Thank you. And for now, happy crafting.